Welcome to the broadcast. My name is John Mayfield, the Real Estate Tech Guy, and thank you so much for joining us on another live stream for Global Real Estate School. Hey, don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure and click on the bell. You'll be notified each and every time we go live. You can find us on YouTube by just searching for Global Real Estate School. And if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please be sure and do so. We'd love for you to subscribe to our Instagram. We have a Facebook page. We even have an Amazon, and I won't say her name because she'll start talking to me, but you know who I'm talking about. We have a skill that you can go there and find out and listen to our podcast. And oh, by the way, we have a podcast almost at 80,000 downloads. I'm very excited about that. Well, let's get into a math problem. I have a problem here that I want to go over with you, and I think that it will be something that you will enjoy trying to figure out with me. And it is what we call a cap rate problem. And with the cap rate problem, what we're trying to find out is the value of a property. Now, this is a classic type of cap rate problem. They actually want you to figure one T problem, and once you figure the answer for that problem, you take your answer, plug it into the second T problem, and that will give you the answer you need for the examination. So don't panic, it's not too difficult. I will help you out and show you how to solve this specific problem. And I need to make this a little bit bigger because I was making some changes. So we have what I call, and I learned this years ago, many schools teach this, it's called a T problem. And it has three different parts to it. 1, 2, 3. You will always be given two. So you might be given a top and a bottom, or you could be given both bottoms. Whatever you have, you'll always be given two, and you'll be able to do a math application to solve for the third one. So I like to put my math symbols on the T, and if we had both of the bottom, what does our math tell us to do? Tells us to multiply. So again, if you have both bottoms, you multiply. If you had one top right up here and one bottom, the math tells you to divide. Okay, so don't panic. We'll go through this and figure all of this out, and I'll show you just exactly how to solve this problem. So let's go back to this T problem, and there are three parts. The top is going to be labeled part. And I always like for people to think of the smaller number. Okay, so keep that in mind. Number 2 is total, and I want you to think of the big number, the bigger number. So it equals the bigger number. And 3 equals what we call the percent or the rate. So let's take a look at this problem that we have on the screen. We're going to go back over there in a minute. And I want you to look at some numbers there and think about the question and see if you can figure out where those numbers in the problem will go on the T. So let's go back over there, and we are looking at a property is worth, now that's what it's worth, is $500,000. If it is capped at 6%. And this is what they want us to answer. What is the value if it's capped at 8%? Now again, remember what I said from the beginning. We actually have to work one problem, and when we get the answer to that problem, we will use that answer and be able to plug it into the second problem, and that will actually be able to help us solve the problem, okay? So let's go back over here to our problem, and I'm going to actually see if I can pick a different color out here. Let's do orange, and let's make this a little smaller so that I can write inside here. So if a property is worth $500,000, if it's capped at 6%, what is the value if it's capped at 8%? Well, the other thing that I actually failed to tell you, because this is what we call a cap rate problem, and boy, that is really not very legible, and that's probably because I'm going to have to make that a little bit bigger here. Oh, I know what's wrong. I absolutely know exactly what's wrong. I'm using a pencil, so I'm going to change this to purple. Here we go. So this is a cap rate problem. And when we work a cap rate problem, the part is going to be identified as income. And the total will be identified as the value of the property. And of course, rate remains rate. Let's take a look at this now. We know where the 6% goes, right here. I always like my students to move their decimal over 2 places. So we're going to need to put a 0 out here. So this will be 0.06. I just think it makes it easier for the examination. So I like to convert the percentage to decimal, so we've got to move that over 2 places. Now, sometimes people ask me, well, John, why do you have to move it over two places? Well, remember, 10% would be 0.10. 9%, you have to put the 0 out there in front. So you'll have to do 0.8, 0.7, all the way down to 0.1, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm putting the 0 here. You're not going to have a 1, you're going to have zeros 1 through 9. So just kind of remember that. By the way, you know, most of the math on the exam is not math that's going to be really challenging, but there are some things you just have to learn, and I never was really that great with math, but just remind yourself you're going to have to put a 0 out in front of 1 through 9%. And so we have 0.06. Now, looking at this, if it's worth 500,000 capped at 6%, where would the 500,000 go? Well, it's going to go right down here in the value section. Remember, it's worth, or the value's 500,000 if it's capped at 6%. What does our math tell us to do? Tells us to multiply. Okay, well, when I do 500,000 times 0.06, I get $30,000. I want to make sure that's right. 500 times 0.06 equals 30,000. And that is the income right there on top. See that? Now let's continue to read the problem. What is the value if it's capped at 8%? Well, basically what we're trying to do now is we're solving, remember, put our math on there. I don't know why I put my decimal down there real low. We'll get rid of that. Now, remember, this is income. This is value. And this is percent. We go back to the problem. What is the value if it's capped at 8%? Well, we're solving for value now, right? So I already can tell you my math is going to be division, because remember, whenever you have one at the top and one of the bottom, your math tells you to divide. Well, going back to this problem, do we know the rate? Yes, it's 8%. So that's going to be 0.08. Do we know the income? Yes, we solved that over here. It's 30,000. So 30,000 divided by, because that's our math symbol, and this is always going to go in our calculator first, 0.08 equals $375,000. That's our answer. Now, look what happened. When we had a cap rate of 6%, the value was $500,000. Now, we have a cap rate of 8%. The cap rate actually went up. And what happened to the value? It went down. Interesting concept. The reason is there is what we call an inverse relationship between the cap rate and the value. By the way, that could be an exam question, an inverse relationship. What I mean is this. What you have to think about is in this terms. You are an investor, okay? You're an investor. You have saved your money and you've got lots of money and you want to invest it into real estate. Here's a property that has a $30,000 income stream, okay? So you want to purchase a property that in return is going to give you $30,000. Now, you're an investor, right? And all you can get from this property is $30,000 in income. Well, if, and we'll go back and look at this so you can see this again, if you had to pay $375,000 for the property, your return on the $30,000 is 8%. But if you had to pay $500,000 for this property, the return actually goes down to 6%. Why did that happen? Because the more you have to pay for something, the less your return on your investment. Remember, you're only getting $30,000. So the idea is this: the better deal I can get, the cheaper, I hate to use the word cheaper, but the cheaper I can get that property, if I can get that property for less money, based on that return, I'm going to get a higher return on my investment or a higher interest. So there's an inverse relationship with the cap rate on income capitalization problems, in that the lower you have to pay for a property, the higher your return. The more you have to pay for a property based on that income stream, your return on your investment lowers, okay? Now, this is a classic real estate exam question. And you'll notice, really, it's just nothing but multiply and divide. But you have to work the one problem, get the answer, plug it into the second problem, and that will give you the final answer you need for the exam. Well, I hope that helps you out, and would love your input or feedback. You're going to see a question like that on the real estate test. It's not that difficult. You'll be able to figure it out, and you'll do very well. Again, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'd love to have you as a subscriber there. Check that out. We'd love for you to check out globalrealestateschool.com. We have lots of course material. We have a My Real Estate Exam Coach that'll help you in any state you're in. We have digital flashcards. We have practice exams. And oh, by the way, Yes, we have our own support page. So you can go to Global Real Estate School Support and you can find out more information there as well. Well, listen, I want to say thank you so much for watching today's broadcast. I hope this was helpful for you. Reach out to us anytime we can help you at Global Real Estate School. We'd love to do so. Thanks again for watching. Go out and make it a great day.